The Nintendo Switch Lite is an amazing console, and you can definitely hear me rave all about it in my full review, which I will be leaving linked in the description below. And I do have to say that I have been spending quite a bit of time with this particular unit, even though I do own a full original Nintendo Switch. That is a great console, of course, but I do really love the ability to be able to take this guy on the go. Even though the other one is also portable, this one is just so much lighter, it fits in even more places, and it is just such a fantastic gaming experience. I really love the Switch Lite. However, I can definitely understand why a lot of you might feel like your experiences with this console might not be complete, and it is because of the lack of accessories. This system just came out recently, so it is understandable that there aren't so many on the market. However, I was able to find what I would consider to be some of the best accessories for the Nintendo Switch Lite at this time. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the top 7 accessories that I found on Amazon. Without further ado, let's take a look. And first things first, I would like to go over a quick overview of this particular unit. So the Nintendo Switch Lite retails for about $200 here in the US, and this is a very light console that can be taken just about anywhere. It does not have detachable JoyCons, that's one thing to keep into consideration. It doesn't have a kickstand, and this system cannot be docked by any means. You cannot connect this system to an external display at all because it is not supported through the USB-C port at the very bottom. However, this console is just as capable as the original Nintendo Switch to play full-on AAA games that you can take with you on the go. You still have very good battery life, pretty good buttons, I would say. This is still a very complete experience for the most part, even though it doesn't offer everything that the original Nintendo Switch does. However, with the accessories I'm about to talk about, I do have to say that these should help improve your gaming experience, or at least your experience of just being a Switch Lite owner in general. So, number 1 is going to be the Switch Lite carrying case. So this case in particular is made by Nintendo, and it does feature a hard shell on it, so it is definitely going to be very sturdy. The material itself actually feels very nice. It is some kind of cloth, but it feels very solid. I'm not very sure how to describe it. It is also a very thin case. It is very low profile, so you won't have to worry about this taking too much space in your bag. However, when you open this guy up, there's actually quite a bit to take a look at. So there's going to be the little slot at the bottom. This is going to be for your Nintendo Switch Lite in particular, and it even has the small indentations over here for the triggers so that it can fit as snug as possible. Then this little flap here is just for storing some of your games. It can fit up to 10 Nintendo Switch games, as a matter of fact. And well, if you're like me or how I was when I was a kid, you can even double stuff to make that 20 games. But that might not be a great idea. And now, lastly, at the very top of this case, you're going to find this little pouch where you could put other kinds of accessories. This case is definitely too thin to put the charger in here, I will say that. It is going to bulk out pretty bad if you can get it to close after you put the charger in. However, you can carry extra JoyCons in here, which is pretty cool. Other kinds of accessories like maybe tiny cases with extra games and that sort of thing. So you're definitely not too limited, but it is unfortunate that you can't carry a charger in here. However, that is a compromise I am willing to take, considering the fact that this one looks so nice and it is also so low profile. I love the size, I love how thin it is, and I do love its overall design, even if the yellow from the inside is not my favorite thing ever. You could probably get this guy in different colors, so do make sure to take a look at those as well. In general though, the purpose of this is going to be to keep the Nintendo Switch protected while you travel, and it will do a fantastic job of that. It is a hard shell. Again, your Nintendo Switch will definitely be safe in here. This guy retails for about $17. Next accessory on the list is going to be 20,000 mAh battery bank from Aki. This battery bank is pretty large, as you can see. It is almost the size of the Nintendo Switch Lite, I would say. Almost. It is almost there. It does kind of feel like holding one, actually. But don't be put off by that, because the reason why I picked this guy is because of how much energy it packs. This is a pretty big battery, so you should be able to keep the Nintendo Switch Lite charged for quite a long time. Another thing that makes this portable charger so special is its build quality. It is very hefty. However, it is still pretty thin, so it can still fit in most places. This does not belong in your pockets though, so do keep that in mind. As for ports, you do have 3 USB 3.0 ports, so these are USB-A ports. We're also going to find a USB-C port and a micro USB port on the side, but there's also a lightning connector, which is pretty cool. So this charger actually comes ready to charge all sorts of devices. It can charge your phone, it can charge your tablet, it can charge your laptop depending on what kind of laptop you have, though those options are definitely more limited. It can charge your controllers, it can charge your headphones, it can charge all sorts of things, so it's not just for your Nintendo Switch Lite. Also, just the fact that it can charge through the USB-C port, it means that you can still just worry about only having to carry one type of cable for all of your devices. And that is definitely great. This portable charger is pretty powerful, which means that, again, this should be able to keep your Switch charged for quite a while. You can definitely get a couple of charges out of this, at the very least, even though the charging might be a little bit slow while you're gaming at the same time. But this guy is definitely powerful enough to help you along very long trips if you need to. So this is definitely a great accessory to add to your list. This portable charger retails for $40. Next up on the list is going to be this grip case for the Nintendo Switch Lite, and this one is made by JetTech. You can get this one on Amazon very easily, and definitely many different replicas of it, I would say, even though this probably is a replica of another one. But anyway, I digress. This particular grip case seems to be made out of some kind of silicone for the most part that is definitely soft enough so that when you try to put your Nintendo Switch in there, it will not scratch it. However, the grips are hard enough that it feels pretty good to game with this at the same time, so that is definitely something that is very well appreciated. This is built with security in mind for sure, and comfort. Now, gaming with this actual case actually feels pretty good. It doesn't add too much to the footprint of the Nintendo Switch, and it doesn't even ruin the design very much in my opinion, which is part of the reason why I don't like using cases in general. I'm very picky about those. However, this one I wouldn't mind leaving in my Nintendo Switch because even just gaming with this feels very nice. You just feel like you have a much more firm grip on your Switch Lite. So that's why a lot of people like to invest in these, and that's why I've even invested in one of these, and I am comfortable enough recommending these because these will make a difference, especially if you suffer from carpal tunnel or something like that. This should be able to help you out quite a bit. This particular one retails for $15. And now, this charging dock is actually made specifically for the Nintendo Switch Lite, even though it looks like it could fit a Nintendo Switch, the original one, and it should be able to. So over here, you're actually going to find the USB-C connector right over here, which is where you would be mounting your Switch or Switch Lite, and this little kickstand here, even though it only articulates in one position, which is just all the way back to here. Now, this is actually good enough for tabletop mode. In general, for the build quality, this feels very plasticky. It does not feel very great, in my opinion. Though it is very lightweight, it is very easy to store away, and I don't necessarily see this breaking anytime soon unless you really put enough force on it to break it. You also have some storage over here for 2 games specifically. Not something I'm going to use very often, but it is still nice to have, since a lot of Nintendo Switch cases don't really come with a ton of space for games, and I've already run out of space in some of my other cases. This might actually come in handy at some point. So now, like I mentioned earlier, this is just a charging dock. You can't dock the Nintendo Switch Lite, so this here is only good for charging it. And this on its own will not charge it. There isn't a battery in here necessarily. So on the back, you're going to find a USB-C port. And it does come with an included USB-C cable, so you can plug this into a wall outlet or some kind of power source. And then once you plug that in, it will be able to transfer energy through it, so that way when you dock the Switch through this little compartment here, the Switch is going to start charging, and you should be able to play in tabletop mode without your Switch being at any risk at dying necessarily. And that is pretty cool. Not to mention that another huge advantage of this is that you can actually plug this directly into your battery bank, and it's going to work just fine. So you could still do tabletop on the go while you're charging this. And that's the reason why I went for this one in particular. Now, this stand retails for $13. It's definitely pretty cheap. And now the next accessory on the list is going to be a game controller, and I would like to look at the 8BitDo SN30 Pro. This is a great little controller. I purchased this guy quite some time ago actually for my normal Nintendo Switch, and I wanted this controller specifically for travel. I really liked the size. I liked that it was a fully featured controller. Yeah, the double joystick still, full triggers, you got a USB-C port as well. So again, you're only worrying about having to use one cable for everything. This controller also works through Bluetooth, so it doesn't only work for my Nintendo Switch Lite. I can use this with my tablet, and I can also use this controller on my laptop. This controller is very comfortable. It is very light, feels awesome, and it is great for so many different kinds of games, with the exception of shooters, because you just can't really be that efficient with this controller considering its size, and it does depend on the person as well. But this little controller is great for definitely most kinds of games, and I very much love it. I travel with this guy all the time, even when I'm traveling with my Nintendo Switch Lite, because that way, if I just wanted to play in tabletop mode, this would allow me to do it very, very comfortably. Now, I did do a full review of this controller, and it is definitely worth checking out. And if you are interested in knowing more details about this controller, then I will make sure to leave a link to that review in the description so you can check that out. Now, as for the pricing, this controller retails for around $45, even though you can find different versions of it for around 40-ish. Prices don't necessarily fluctuate all that much, but 45 bucks, it's still worth it for this controller, in my opinion. And next up, we have double JoyCons. So this is a red pair of JoyCons. I do realize that this might be a weird recommendation for some people, considering that if you got the Switch Lite, it's probably because you don't necessarily care all that much for the JoyCons. However, the reason why I'm suggesting these is because there are some games that really benefit from motion controls. Let's say just having split JoyCons. For example, playing in ARMS, you can use these JoyCons to punch around with them as if you were an actual boxer, right? So that's one benefit that you do get with these. Also, just the ability to do split JoyCon is going to be very helpful, just in the sense that a lot of people do find it very comfortable to play with the Joy-Con separated as just one controller. I even do that. I used to do that a lot actually when I played with my Nintendo Switch dock. But the main reason why I included these on this list is due to multiplayer capabilities. If you can set Switch Lite in dock mode, then it will make it very easy to share that screen with somebody else. And if you have double Joy-Cons, which fit very easily in the carrying case that I mentioned earlier, and they just have a very small footprint, you can connect these up and you can have split Joy-Cons and you can still go through that whole multiplayer experience with somebody else. So you don't necessarily have to lose out on that, even if this extra accessory will make it so that you're almost paying just as much for the Nintendo Switch Lite as you would be for the Nintendo Switch. So that is one reason why I probably would advise against it. However, if you do still really want a Nintendo Switch Lite and still wanted the ability to do multiplayer on just one system, then getting double Joy-Cons might actually be a decent investment. So I definitely look into that. So for a set of 2 Joy-Cons, these are going to retail for 80 bucks for 2. And the last accessory on the list is just going to be a micro SD card. This right here is a 128 gig SD card from Samsung. For the Nintendo Switch Lite, or just any version of the Nintendo Switch, the storage is pretty mediocre at only 32 gigs. And just adding another 32 gigs into that system isn't really enough to compensate for how much storage you're going to be eating up from games and save data and everything that comes in between. Which is why you definitely want a decently sized micro SD card, and luckily these actually come at fairly good prices. This one for 128 gigs, which is actually pretty big for the Nintendo Switch Lite in my opinion, since I mostly buy physical anyway, is only around 20 bucks. Double that might be around 40. And that sort of thing. It's actually not that expensive to invest in extra storage for the Nintendo Switch Lite or the original Nintendo Switch. So yeah, highly recommend going for the solution right here. All of the accessories I wanted to talk about for the Nintendo Switch Lite this time around. Now, this system was released very recently, so there aren't really that many things that are specifically tailored for the Nintendo Switch Lite. There are just some things that you can use with both the normal Switch and the Switch Lite, but I tried to find as many accessories as possible that would be beneficial specifically to the Nintendo Switch Lite. So, in the future, we might be able to update this video with more recent accessories, maybe some more accessories that are catering even more to the Nintendo Switch Lite. Definitely look forward to exploring that once more in the future. However, for now, this is probably the best that you can get at the moment from Amazon. Do keep an eye out for any other accessories or any price drops on these, as on Amazon, you can usually find pretty good deals. So once more, these are probably the best of the best you can find, and these are my recommendations this time around. If you are interested in buying any of the accessories that I mentioned in this video, or maybe just a Nintendo Switch Lite, then I will be leaving affiliated links to Amazon in the description. If you decide to use any of our links to make a purchase, then we do get a small commission that does help us run things a little more smoothly around here, and it is at no additional cost to you. So we would very much appreciate it if you use those links. We will make sure to leave them down in the description. And so that's all I got for now. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. This has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you all later. Enjoy.